Welcome to your mega-sized mega news roundup for May 19th, 2020. We spent a lot of time diving around in the D-Block lately with Rockman X DiVE, but now it's finally time to get back to the regular news as well. So today we're going to be jumping around between several different topics, from news coming out of Capcom themselves to developments in the Mega Man fan community as well. Let's rock! I'm sure a big question on everybody's minds lately has been, what happened to Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection? How did it do sales wise? Well, Capcom has recently finally come out with their financial report for the previous fiscal year ending on March 31st, 2020. However, there is absolutely nothing to report on Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection, which is neither good nor bad news. There's no evidence to say it sold particularly poorly, but at the same time, it clearly wasn't enough for Capcom to find it worth to mention to their investors. If I had to guess based on its early sales, it's probably doing well enough, but it is definitely lagging behind the likes of the Mega Man Classic and X Legacy collections. Which makes a lot of sense since, let's be real, the Classic and X series has always stood at the top of the most popular series. Zero is pretty decent popularity wise as well, but ZX is especially niche. The Zero series was definitely carrying that collection, in terms of public recognition at least. Which is why it was pretty smart of them to include ZX along with the Zero series, so that people picking up the collection for Zero actually got a chance to try out ZX as well. But getting to the point, we have no information right now on how well it did and how Capcom feels about its sales so far. Here's hoping we hear something in the future, but for right now we do have a couple of good news for the franchise in general. The Mega Man franchise, as of March 31st, has now sold 36 million units in its lifetime, an additional million from when they last reported on the sales in May 2019. We could assume this extra million came from the likes of the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection, as well as further sales of the likes of Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2, Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, and of course Mega Man 11, which has seen an additional 200,000 units sold between November 2019 and March 31st of this year, bringing the game to a total of 1.2 million units sold. Not bad at all. If any Mega Man game has a chance of dethroning Mega Man 2, 11 might be the one, but it still has a little ways to go. Thankfully, the game, along with the other Legacy collections, have seen very significant discounts on game store sales recently, which has no doubt helped in the additional sales. It's a shame we didn't hear anything about the Zero and ZX Legacy collection this time, but it's still great to hear that the Mega Man franchise continues to have legs and is doing really well for itself. As for what Capcom is cooking for the upcoming year, that's where the most interesting tidbit comes from. As reported by Jamatsu, in the upcoming fiscal year, Capcom is hoping to achieve 28 million unit sales, which would be an all-time record for them if it actually happens. In order to hit that goal, they would definitely need to release some big heavy hitter titles, and it seems that is exactly what they are going to do. Yep, as stated in their results presentation, Capcom plans to release multiple major new titles by March 31st, 2021. Specifically, we're talking about 13 new title SKUs. Now, these SKUs do count multi-platforms, and Resident Evil 3 just came out right after the fiscal year ended, so that should count for 3 of those SKUs right there, since it came out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But as for the 10 other SKUs, that is completely up in the air. At the very least, and the whole reason why I'm reporting this, it is entirely possible that a new Mega Man game could fit into those plans somewhere. I wouldn't call Mega Man a huge sales giant, but we have already heard about at least 2 new Mega Man games that Capcom is working on. There's the new major title that Kazuyo Tsuchiya and team have already said that they're working on at Capcom Japan. And I do mean like a brand new game on consoles. It's not going to be a mobile title, it's not going to be a collection. It's basically going to be Mega Man 12, X9, or whatever they decide to do. Hopefully we'll hear the announcement on that game sometime this year. The other game is actually a mobile title, but with Capcom cracking down on any types of leaks nowadays, we are choosing not to further discuss it at this time until an official announcement is made. But if you have been plugged in with us for a while, you probably already heard the name of this mysterious mobile title. We'll leave it at that. As for any kinds of other Mega Man collections, I honestly don't see that happening for quite a while, considering Zero and ZX Legacy Collection literally just came out a few months ago. It's going to take some time for that team to work on the next one. So in terms of new collections, I'm not seeing it this fiscal year, if anything late 2021 or 2022 at the very earliest. Remember that there was over a 1.5 year gap between X Legacy Collection and Zero and ZX Legacy Collection. But yeah, with a new Mega Man game on the horizon and a couple mobile titles, one we're already playing and one that's coming soon apparently, the future is looking pretty interesting for the Blue Bomber. All that's left is to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, why don't we check out what the fan community has been cooking up? We're gonna start off with a new Kickstarter game that I've been meaning to talk about for a while now. This title is called Protodroid DeLTA, and if you can't tell from the X-Force style intro, yeah, this game has Mega Man X influence all over it. You play as the title character Delta, while you jump, shoot, dash, and slash your way through 3D environments. You could say this game is sort of a spiritual successor to Mega Man X7 and the Legend series, because the goal is to successfully translate the X series gameplay into 3D. From the gameplay footage I've seen so far, the game does look like it is smartly improving on what X7 tried to do, while adding some Legends elements as well, like the third-person view and lock-on system. The world of Protodroid DeLTA takes place in what they call a solarpunk universe. As they describe it, it is a futuristic world with the aesthetic based on solar power technology. It's a more hopeful kind of world, with a focus on natural beauty and renewal. Besides the main character, there is a ton of different diverse characters here, drawing from many cultures that I don't normally see in this kind of video game, which definitely makes it more unique than other Mega Man-like projects. There's a lot of lore and character bios that you can check out for yourself on their Kickstarter page, and I'd be here for a while if I had to go over it all. So I do recommend that you guys do check out their Kickstarter, it looks pretty interesting. We also have good news on that front. As I record this, the game has already been funded on its basic goal of $20,000. Congrats! As I record this video, the game has raised $27,866 and is sure to go way up by the time this video actually gets out. That being the case, there is some stretch goals as well. We've already got the first stretch goal funded, which is Music Pack number 1, featuring some music composers from other notable indie games. At $30,000 we got Music Pack 2, at both $35,000 and $40,000 there are extra tribute armors to go with the existing ones, and there are still much more stretch goals to be revealed as time goes on, if the project continues to be successful. Oh, and you're probably wondering, what platforms is this game coming out on? Well, I can report at this time that Protodroid DeLTA is slated to come out on both PC and Nintendo Switch. That's right, no stretch goals for the Switch version because it's already happening out the gate. But that's about it for right now. No news on any PS4 or Xbox One ports. Anyway, if you are interested in Protodroid DeLTA, once again, definitely check out their Kickstarter page. I'll have a link to that in the description below. There is about 2 weeks left on the project, so if you do want to pledge to it, get on that. Thank you to the devs for bringing their game to my attention. Next up, let's jack in and see what the Mega Man Battle Network community is up to. In the latest developments, Grega Master has developed a Battle Chip Gate homebrew program that you can use on your real-life Game Boy Advance. This is insane. By using a flash cartridge, you can load up the homebrew program on a separate Game Boy Advance, connect it to another Game Boy Advance that's running the game via a link cable, Then while you're net battling, you can load up a folder with all of your chips that you want to use, then just press the A button at will and your Navi will use the chip in the game. You can also use this to unlock the Beastgate features like the SP Navis that were otherwise not present in the English version of Mega Man Battle Network 6. No longer will you have to buy other accessories or battle chips to use those features anymore. This homebrew program really does do it all. It's compatible with Battle Network 4, 4.5, 5, 6, and even Mega Man 0 and 3. Be sure to check it out on the Rockman EXE zone for more information. In other news, Mega Man Battle Network 1 just got completely bodied. Reddit user Skims is my name found this amazing skip in Battle Network 1 by complete accident. As Grega Master himself explains, one of the fires in the first World 3 comp that replicates Fireman's scenario in the Oven comp actually shares a flag with the flag that checks if the game should play the epilogue cutscene. So by extinguishing the flame, then jacking out and leaving the World 3 base, exiting the train station, the epilogue cutscene will then play, bypassing the entire last part of the game and getting you the game completion without actually fighting Magic Man or the Life Virus. Battle Network 1 speedrunning will legitimately never be the same again. I can't believe Magic Man and Life Virus just got deleted from the game, guys. And as you can see in this clip from Twilight EXE, this glitch is already being used in runs.
We did it, boys! This game is so fucking stupid.
Congrats on your PBs. Since there really isn't a no manipulation category in Battle Network 1 speedrunning yet, I think now people are gonna have to think about whether they should introduce a non-manipulation category. We'll see what happens, but this is a seriously legendary glitch, which has gone unnoticed by the community for 20 years until Skimp here accidentally found it. That is crazy. I'll have links in the description for the post and the clip for you to check out for yourselves. For the rest of this video, we'll be moving away from spiritual successors and talking about fan games instead. Let's begin by catching up with one of my favorites, Mega Man Maker. In case you missed it, back in February, Mega Man Maker version 1.6 was released. It featured a whole assortment of Mega Man 10 and Mega Man 11 content new to the game. Bosses like Sheep Man, Blast Man, and Bounce Man made an appearance, along with the usual special weapons, stage gimmicks, and enemies too. They even introduced a new mode where you can literally build stages with up to 8 other players online. Now that is a pretty cool feature. As for the next update, 1.7, the focus will be on adding elements in existing games that is already represented in Mega Man Maker. In other words, Mega Man 1 through 11. They say there are currently no plans to add things from Mega Man and Base and other games at this time. To help decide what to add to the update, they recently held an enemy contest where people could vote on what they want to see in the game next. The 2 winners ended up being the Machine Gun Joe and the Heli Metal. Another enemy coming to 1.7 is the Pippies. Oh yes, the Pippies. Get your leaf shield ready. Moving right along, we have 2 April Fool's jokes that ended up becoming actual games. It's funny that a lot of Mega Man April Fool's jokes ends up coming true. The first one was Rockman Corner's April Fool's joke for this year, a Mega Man ZX game featuring fan favorite characters Prometheus and Pandora. Developed by Tommy Case, the developer behind Fiction Sphere, this game is called Chapter W, touted as a separate campaign from Mega Man ZX Advent, where you can play as Prometheus and Pandora. Each character has their own set of attacks that you know and love, a Giga Crush, and you can even swap between the 2 characters at any time, taking a cue from the tag assist systems in the X series. After it came out that this project was an April Fool's joke, Tommy Case took to Twitter to reveal that he is actually working on it. He started by creating the movesets for Prometheus and Pandora. Now in the most recent update, he's revealed silhouettes for 4 new Suitoroids that will be part of the game. There may be more Pseudoroids in the future too, depending on how development goes. Looks pretty sweet overall. Lately, the ZX series has been seeing a lot of fan game content, definitely more than we could say about other Mega Man series, so it's pretty surprising to see, but cool all the same. The other April Fool's joke turned real game is a demake of Mega Man and Bass. Have you ever played those Famicom demakes of Mega Man 7 and 8? Well, here's one about Mega Man and Bass. Originally announced as an April Fool's prank last year, creator Triple Squid later received a message from Ken Sweetgen33, a sprite contributor for the Mega Man X Corrupted fan game, and from there they formed a team to bring you Mega Man and Bass FC. In the review trailer, celebrating the 22nd anniversary of the game, we got a sneak peek at an incomplete version of Coldman Stage, which is the first Robot Master that they are working on. And at the end, a little tease. Hopefully this might turn into my preferred way to play Mega Man and Bass if they tighten up the enemy placement and stage design. The devs also have a question: should they keep the database from the original game or not? I'll have a link to the trailer in the description below so that you can comment on the video telling them your thoughts on that. The remakes don't stop there, however, because now we have a sequel to Mega Man The Wily Wars. What? Yep, the Madman Sucks at Jello actually did it. Whereas the original Wily Wars covered Mega Man 1 through 3, the sequel, Wily Wars 2, will feature Mega Man 4 through 6, completing the hexology. Backed by the iconic Sega Genesis 16-bit graphics and the system's distinct tunes. As shown in the reveal trailer, Wily Wars 2 is set to have both the original stages and remix versions of them, featuring much harder enemy placement and new boss encounters too. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun, and if you want to check out for yourself, they do actually have a downloadable demo for you to check out right now. I'll have a link to the trailer in the description below so you can download that demo and see what the game has to offer for yourself. Thank you to Coleman X for passing this one along to me. I mentioned it earlier in the video, so let's quickly talk about my personal most highly anticipated fan game, Mega Man X Corrupted. For those not in the know, this is a Mega Man X game set after the events of X5, and this one takes cues from the ZX series by allowing you to play through a full Metroidvania world. Instead of a stage select screen, you'll travel to every area and hunt down the Mavericks through interconnected stages. There's already been a ton revealed about this game in the past, all on their YouTube channel, JKB Games, but lately they've been bringing back a lot of legacy bosses like Storm Eagle, Morph Moth, Magma Dragoon, as well as their new bosses, and most recently, JKB has been showing off a new underwater stage on his YouTube channel, complete with a Kraken mini-boss. There's no demos or anything about this game, so I haven't been able to play it myself, but I will say, this game aesthetically and mechanically looks really amazing, and I cannot wait until it comes out, if it ever does. Speaking of, I'll take this time to clear up a misconception that I've been contacted about even recently. From what I understand, on their Discord page, they said that the game may come out this year, and some people have taken that to mean that the game is coming out in May of 2020. That is not the case, that's just people taking that the wrong way. All they're saying is the game might come out this year, or it might not. That's all we got for right now. The good news is most of the content is almost getting there. At this point, it's pretty much that last Maverick stage and the Fortress stages. So let's hope we hear something about the release this year. While we're discussing Mega Man X fan games, there is another game I've been following lately called Mega Man X Maverick's Fury. This one goes more in the traditional direction, but it's still very impressive. With its own set of Mavericks, more legacy bosses that are coming back like Hymax and even Gmail from Extreme 1. And hey, this game has a playable vial that already gets bonus points in our book. Check out the YouTube channel MegaZX51 for more videos on the development of this game as it goes on. That's all for today's Mega News update, catching up on Capcom and the fan community. With so much going on, with new games on the horizon, and the fans doing a bunch of cool stuff, there is no shortage of new Mega Man content to enjoy. Which game was your favorite of the ones we talked about today? Let us know in the comments. And for more on Mega Man, including our continuing coverage on Rockman X DiVE, stay tuned to ShadowRockZX. Until next time, rock on and have a great day, everybody.